Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Nyxre and welcome back to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Teemo, where today I'll be covering top lane Thresh. Here's the reference guide for today's video. I did build top lane Thresh in two different ways while making this video, one of which was a typical top lane build with the Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape, and the other was a high damage build. The one you'll want to pick will depend both on the lane matchup and the composition of the rest of your team. For anyone interested, an Imgur link for this reference guide can be found down in the description below. So let's get right into the good things about top lane Thresh. The first thing I want to cover is the two amazing passives that Thresh has. His primary passive, Damnation, provides him with free armor and ability power by picking up souls as the game progresses. This can turn you into a super tank in the late game if you've gone for a tanky build, and it can provide you with a bit of extra security if you've decided to go for a more damage oriented build. His second passive is provided from Flay, and I personally found this to be the better of the two, as in the late game every few seconds it gives you an auto with a 200% attack damage bonus. This gives you the ability to effectively chunk enemy carries and potentially kill them with a small bit of follow-up. This is incredibly powerful because the damage is dealt as magic damage, which will force your lane opponent to itemize for both resistances, as you'll be dealing plenty of both. Thresh also provides your team with a ton of crowd control. This is one of the primary reasons why Thresh is always a decent support, as the playmaking potential is always there due to his hook and Flay. You can create the same amount of disturbance as Maokai in a team fight by taking a hook into the enemy and then flaying as many members as you can. And helping out even more with this is the utilization of his lantern. You can either use it to save teammates from being killed, or you can use it to help a secondary tank on your team engage into a team fight. Thresh synergizes well with heavy engaged supports and junglers such as Alistar, Leona, Rek'Sai, and Gragas, as it makes it very easy for them to follow up on any engage he may attempt. More specifically, you can use your lantern to allow your jungler to gank your lane from a very large distance away. This helps junglers such as Shyvana who may have a hard time ganking your lane otherwise. And the last good thing about top lane Thresh that I like to cover is that he is an incredibly safe laner. You have several forms of disengage with both your Flay and your ultimate, and you also have your lantern to provide a bit of a shield in any small skirmishes. But one of the things that many people forget about Thresh is that he qualifies as a ranged champion. This helps him greatly in lane as you can easily harass your lane opponent if they are melee, as they won't be able to return any damage. Now moving on to the bad things about playing top lane Thresh, he's very weak in the late game if you don't go for the damage based build. This is because he essentially becomes a much tankier version of support Thresh, who isn't amazing in the late game either. If you do choose to go for the tankier build, you want to try and end the game relatively early, or have a hyper carry on your team because the damage you'll be providing will be completely negligible. Alternatively, top lane Thresh is very squishy in the late game if you go for the damage based build. There are other top lane champions like Fiora who are relatively squishy in the late game, but Fiora has increased mobility to make up for it, while Thresh does not. You'll have to make use of your long range autos in this case, but that will make it much harder for you to utilize the rest of your kit. Now let's move on to the Teemo. This is a section which deals with the biggest issues of top lane Thresh, and discusses the primary reasons why you probably would pick something else. I really only found one thing to fit under this category, and that is how high Thresh's skill cap is. This isn't necessarily a problem for more skilled players, but for the more average players such as myself, this alone can be a big enough reason to pick something else in its place. The fact is that there are other top lane champions which can do the exact same things that Thresh does, but they are much easier to play. Champions like Maokai have a point and click route, while Thresh requires landing his hook and knowing how to properly use his Flay. Realistically, if you're going to play top lane Thresh, you're better off going for the damage build, because there are plenty of better and easier champions which can do the exact same thing that he does when building full tank. But that's all I have regarding top lane Thresh. I think this is probably one of the best builds I've done so far, regardless of the bad aspects I covered. This is probably because I prefer to build damage more often than not, and in doing so you can easily become an incredible threat to the enemy team in the late game. Specifically when acting as a split push threat, you can easily draw the attention of 2 or 3 enemy champions, which will allow for your team to make progress across the map. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you are new around here and would like to see more. If you didn't like the video, feel free to leave a dislike. All I ask is that you leave a comment with what you believe I could have done better, so that my future content can continue to improve. But anyways, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.